Scott, Diddy parties, all the stuff that Diddy's going through. Did you have a close relationship? You were in the Palm, so you're in Miami. He's down here. What was your relationship with Diddy?
He was on Star, I was on Palm, and we were cool. Like, you know, we were like comrades, so to speak. Like, real, you know, cool. I was invited to all the parties and this and that, but I wasn't staying late at those parties because I would leave to my parties, which were, you know, potent as well. But I wasn't like, there was no like swinger shit or
you didn't have swinger stuff.
No, I don't. I'm the only dick in the room. I don't like. I'm not into that weird shit. Like, I don't want to like have no part of that. But there was some bad bitches in my house, and you know, excessive everything. And you know, I remember like, you know, my house was more like the Wolf of Wall Street type of vibes. It wasn't like, I don't know. There was no weird shit going on, but I didn't really see any weird shit at Diddy's because it was just, to me, it seemed like everybody was having a great time, and he was the provider of an amazing event that everybody wanted to get into, and like all the time, and spared no expense with fireworks and all kinds of shit, and all the A-list people. I was one of the few people who was allowed to go in the house, and during one of these parties, most people are just like left outside. Huge people.
Whose house is that, Rob?
That was mine.
Oh, that's your house.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, I was the first buyer of that. It's called the Villa Ferrari. A bunch of builders like got into a fight, and like there was like I had to finish the house. At any rate, oh yeah.
So at these Diddy parties, you get invited into the house. Not many people get into the house.
Yeah, but again, I was there at a time when there was nothing even remotely.
So when you hear these stories,
like I was the weirdest guy in the party. I felt like I was the like piece of shit in the party because I was hiding in the media room doing like coke and stuff. You know what I mean? And I remember Diddy looking at me and he's like, "What does that stuff make you feel like?" And it was me and another famous producer in there, and we were like trying to explain it to him. But I guess over time, like he was probably introduced. I don't know for sure, but I mean, or kept things around for people that wanted it.
But at this time, you're saying that Diddy didn't even know what coke was. Like he wasn't doing any.
He
drugs.
was joking around with us, but like he was like kind of looking at us like, "What does that shit make y'all feel like?" And this and that. Like it was just like he was like as innocent type vibe, but like
meaning he didn't do drugs.
I think he was doing like probably ecstasy and Molly. That was more socially acceptable at that time. Yeah. Even though later we learned that leaves like holes in your brain and like robs you of your serotonin and shit like that. But look, here's my take on the Diddy thing. Forget about the parties. Who Diddy is, who they're trying to make him out to be. I said this just recently. I'll say it again. There's no excuse to hit a woman. I've never put my hands on a woman my whole life unless I was smacking her on the ass while. All right. I've never gotten to that stage where I'll just walk away. Like, I'm not going to get into a fight with you. Like, you're not going to, like, I've had girls that got violent with me. Like, I'm like, no, goodbye. See ya. I'm not part of that. So who knows what the hell was going on during that? So there's no excuse for that. To me, it looks like for like 3 days doing up drug, and it was like not who he is now this like drugged up dopamine version of what Diddy is, and like that shit somehow happened. I don't think he's somebody who just beats women up. He's not like Jake LaMotta or some shit like whatever the case is.
What's good, y'all? It's OB Media. Scott Storch goes crazy, and he said that he went to Diddy parties and he never saw no swinger shit and no freak off, and he leave early. Man, someone got to be lying, man. Everyone went to Sean Combs' party, but they leave early. Man, everyone got the same story. They leave before 1 o'clock. But he's saying that he never believed that Diddy was the type of guys to put his hands on female. Man, Diddy was wrong for doing Cassie that in that hotel lobby. That was some real sucker shit, and we had to hold him accountable. He was really getting out of control. He was hooked on drugs. He was doing anything because he got power, and we needed to humble him. But it is what it is, man. You need to watch a full video. Let's get it.
That was that. As far as them saying to like that he's a sex trafficker, to me, sex trafficking is selling. I think, if anything, he was like buying it and like just having girls on deck and putting them on the stream and going over state lines. That's not cool. Like, just call somebody like a sex trafficker, like whatever. Nobody was having a problem with eating caviar with him and taking his money. Like, so I don't think that's fair. I think that Rico, you gotta have more than one name there. I just think that if you try and go up against liquor, oil, like all the, firearms, tobacco, all these things, like, you're going to have problems. That's the Illuminati. And he went up against Diageo and said, I could do my own Ciroc. And, like, they were like, oh, yeah? They dropped a bomb on his ass. The crime doesn't fit the punishment with him. I still have my pictures up of Diddy on my Instagram. Now, disappointed, yeah, that he put his hands on a woman. I'll forgive. If I find out that he did something to a little kid or did some like pedophile shit, which I don't think they're gonna find, because I don't think that's who he is. I don't get that from him. Whatever picture they're trying to paint from him is this devious guy. I mean, whatever. Like, he's gangsta for sure. Like, he's definitely like, he's from New York. Like, he's not. Is he a homosexual? Bisexual? Everybody's trying to push that. Is he a cuck? Which is like watching other. I wasn't in the room. I do know I felt like at one point he tried to flirt with me and shit, and I was just like, I'm good on that type of shit. But,
oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
what do you mean he tried to flirt with you?
I'm just gonna leave it simple like that. You know, that's it.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty bold statement, Scott.
Bro, it's just, I'm gonna say it like, it is what it is. He's my homie, man. Like,
gotcha.
But like, I just felt.
But there was never any bad beef. There was any.
Nah,
you never
man,
saw anything weird.
Man, nothing but love.
When you hear the stories about, like, well, Usher came to his house for Diddy Flavor Camp, and then Justin Bieber showed up. Any rumors in that? Any truth to that?
Man, like, dude, everybody wanted to be around him. He's the flyest dude. Like, he made the shit look good. He's in Tommy Mottola's house, which is the sickest shit that he bought, like, on Star Island. Like, sick. Like, like, Justin was Molly Mall's house. You know Molly Mall? The guy, he was like, that was like, because he provided a different kind of thing. Like, he was in Vegas in, I think, Neil Sedaka or somebody's crib.
Sedaka.
Some weird guy's crib. I don't know who it was. And he was a pimp. You know what I'm saying? And he had all these broads around, and he had a studio, and he had like cool people. He had Pooh Bear around. And that was a fun environment. Like, you know what I'm saying? What can I say? Like, and people wanted to be there too. Bieber wanted to be there. Nobody was taking advantage of Bieber. Bieber knew what he was doing. He was trying to hang out. That's it. That's all I think.
The Biebs right there. So Diddy,
that picture up there on the left with Paris, me, and Kim and Diddy, they were like, yeah, they're at one of Diddy's white parties. That wasn't even Diddy's white party. We're in Saint Tropez at the Biblos Hotel, like in the pool, like, or something. That we were just at a white party, and there was mad people there. You know, we were just hanging out.
everybody dresses like that in Saint Tropez.
Look to the left a little bit. The
left picture. Yeah.
Oh, who's that?
Was that Kanye right there?
Yeah, that's your best friend right there.
My boy, man.
Gotcha.
To DMX, did you and DMX do anything or no?
Yeah, we did. We shared.
He was one of my favorite. I mean,
He was one of my closest friends. God rest his soul. Earl. I tried to save his life. It was like the blind leading the blind, though. Like, he was on crack, I'm on cocaine. Different things. One of them was a faster suicide. But there was a point, I'm going to tell you 2 DMX stories, or 3, actually. DMX, I got him out of having to, like, go to prison, and I told him to go to a rehab center, and, like, it's called Recovery First, right across the street from the Hard Rock. He goes, I get him in, this shit, it was court ordered, and he calls me like 3 days later, he's like, hey, yo, Scott, I'm at the Hard Rock, I had a nurse. I'm like, what bro. I was like, they're not going to take you back. This is not like G&G holistic or some shit. And he's like, oh man. I call the guy, the owner, and I'm like, yo, can you please let him back? Nope. 3 days later, I had him come back to my house. 3 days later, I went to Mondrian. My security calls me and says, X has 50 federal agents surrounding your house right now. They're handcuffing him, and he's smoking crack while they're handcuffing him, like with the handcuffs on, getting his last hit in and shit. Some crazy shit. So before that, I remember him staying at my house. One of the funniest stories is I fucking party. Everybody was there, from Snoop, this one, that one. And at like 7:30 in the morning, the party's fizzled out. It's like Mike Epps, me, Snoop, a couple other people were chilling in my house in Palm. I get a knock at the door, and it was Pamela Anderson. Yeah.
Legend.
What year?
And I was like, wow, this is cool. Like, even though that was actually one of my friend Rick Solomon's wife or whatever, but I never met her. I thought it was like so cool. Like, it was just like 07, 08, whatever. And it was like I think it was like a Super Bowl party I had. It was just like 600 people or something in the party, whatever. And make a long story short, I was so geeked out of my mind. Like, X was upstairs in one of the bedrooms, and I'm like, yo, X, you gotta see this. He comes out and he looks over the banister and he says, Baywatch. And he just walked back in.
Said one word, Baywatch.
Baywatch. And just walked away. But the last one is the saddest story I have with X. He and I made some great, we did a video at my Indian Creek, by the way, it's called Give Them What They Want, at my Indian Creek property. We did a video, it was pretty cool. But that is not the story. The story is this. You'll be able to see that is my brother after I tell you the story and watch that video. But hold up. Steve LaBelle, my manager, one of my most recent managers.
We working.
Yeah. Very cool guy. He and I owned a rehab center together in LA, Studio City. It's called the Heavenly Center, THC.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and we were like, it was very difficult to be like, able to get like insurance companies to cover the shit because of the weed thing and this and that, whatever. So we kind of like dumbed it down. We like, we are weed tolerant. We're not supplying the weed, you know, that type of thing, whatever. California sober. X is now on his last legs with emphysema. And he's one hit of crack away from dying. So we put up the bread. This guy, Frank Sid, me and Steve, we put him on a private jet to Washington to detox. He goes, we convinced him to do it. He goes through the whole detox program, and he's supposed to get on the runway and go back on that same plane and go inpatient at the Heavenly Center. He never got on that plane. And a few weeks later, he was dead.
Wow.
I really tried to save his life. I really love that guy. I had his whole family staying in my house. It was kind of fucked up, though. Like, you know, mind you, I'm a cocaine addict at the time. And, like, he was in there, like, trying to, like, use my coke to make crack with and shit. It's like, I don't know if I look like a maniac for telling these stories. Like, it's the truth. It was like the blind leading the blind. Can you imagine, like, man, you really need to get your shit together.
Man, you gotta clean that thing up, Bubba.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, you gotta stop, get rid of that shit.
What was he like off camera? I mean, everyone says that if there's one performer that just has the grit, the grime, the hustle, the flow, like he was that guy.
He was, man, debuted platinum 10 times in a row.
Yeah,
like,
Rough Riders.
He was shitting on the game. Did you ever one, I forget what festival it was. It was like this massive, like, it was like
Lollapalooza in Chicago?
Shit. Bro, like, this dude was
Kills
a beast. He was like, he was really everything that those records were exuding was him.
When you hear that dun dun dun,
Yeah, it never gets old. It's on one of those. By the way, did you see Will Smith's latest song they called the worst song? Have you heard about it?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Will Smith came out with a song. They just went after him, talking about Fat Joe had a, who was the guy that was with Fat Joe back in the days?
Big Pun?
Not Big, it was with Big Pun. You know, he had this song, This one's dedicated to the ones who never made it. I hated the fact you faded away. You were the greatest.
Pun.
Who is that? No, it's not Pun. It's the other guy. It's
Tony Sunshine?
no. Keep going. You'll say it. It's
Not your boy Raul.
I say this prayer to never respect you, but to
Part of the terror
oh
squad?
My God, what is this guy's name? It's such a great.
Not Nori.
I'll figure out who
Tony
it is.
Sunshine,
Someone's going to
Cuban
watch
Link.
this and they're going to comment below. We'll find out who it is. Well, did you ever do anything with Fat Joe?
What? I made like some of the biggest records for Fat Joe possible. I did Lean Back.
Yeah.
I did Make It Rain. I did like a lot of shit with Joe. Yeah, I mean, like Joe changed the face of my career too, because I was not putting a tag on my records. I was not like produced by Scott Storch and shit like that. But I'm doing every song in the world, and like Lean Back comes and he's like, Scott Storch.
Yeah.
Bro,
within the first 7 seconds.
outside
Yeah, exactly.
my door.
That's what he said in the video.
Cheese lines.
Cheese lines outside a door. Yeah. That's what he said. So you guys were close. You guys, yeah. Where do you put him? Where do you put him on the list?
He's dope. I mean, he's dope. It's kind of like unfair that he's not looked at as even bigger than he is. I mean, people respect him, but like being a Latino rapper at some point, like it was like a handicap in itself. Like it didn't matter how you were, because it was just like there's a lot of like weird things about the music business, you know.
So Fat Joe, I don't know your relationship with him these days, but there's a lot of hip hop beef. You know, obviously it started with Tupac and Biggie and everything, and then Nas, Jay-Z.
Well, he's a big in the, you know, as a personality now, and like
Fat
when
Joe.
you have an opinion, sometimes people like.
Well, 50 Cent, I think him. Who does he have beef with? Is 50 Cent?
He
have
used
beef with
to.
him?
All his fires have been put out.
Really?
It was Hove
Yeah.
and 50, and now he's cool with all of them.
What's your take on just hip hop beef in general? I mean, the biggest beef of the last year was Kendrick and Drake. Is this
not
manufactured? Is this real? What?
WWF, like, you know what I'm saying? But like, put it this way, there was I forget who it was who was telling me like, yo, 50's coming at me on some shit, like he's like and like tearing me up, this and that. And apparently 50 called to him, was like, because no, he got in touch with me, he's like, why you doing this to me? He's like, I'm trying to throw you a bone, bro. I'm trying to get you some shine, like.
50's saying this to you?
No, to this person.
Oh, gotcha.
That's the story I heard. I don't know for sure,
Yeah.
but like that he was like dissing somebody, and the person that he was dissing called Fifth, like, why are you doing this? He's like, bro, I'm trying to help you. Like, any publicity is good publicity. Like, I'm giving you a shot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what these beefs, a lot of them are out. Now, there's legitimate beefs, obviously.
Man, this interview was interesting, man. Scott Storch goes in on Diddy. Man, everything what Diddy done, we needed to hold him accountable. He was wilding. He was hooked on drugs. Everyone went to the Diddy party, but always leave early. So I believe that someone got to be lying. And he also talked about DMX. He said that DMX had a drug addiction. He was taking crack, all type of drugs, and he lost his life because of that shit. So understand that Diddy was a major drug user. He was using a lot of drugs. He was doing all type of bullshit, because when you're intoxicated, you do some stupid stuff. So understand that everything what Diddy done, I don't know if he mean to did that to Cassie, but what he did was just wrong, and we can't just let that slide. We had to hold him accountable, because he was doing everybody wrong. He robbed all of his artists. Everyone got a vendetta against Diddy. That's why when Diddy go to jail and he get indicted, all of his friends saying that they don't associate with Sean Combs. And all of these people were at the party, drinking Ciroc, doing all type of weird shit. They know what was going on, because all of these people was involved. So Diddy had to be the fall guy. He had to go to jail for everyone that is involved. I know that there are a lot of powerful people attend Diddy parties. Donald Trump, princes, queens, a lot of people attend, a lot of rich people. But I understand that Diddy had to be the fall guy, and Clive Davis can't protect Diddy no more, and now he's gone. So what is going to be the outcome for Diddy when he get out of jail? He's going to try to change his life, try to go to God, try to beg for forgiveness. But a lot of people are saying that the black community forgive people very fast. But we don't know what is going to happen. But all I know, Diddy ain't gonna do the same bullshit twice. He's not gonna get caught. He's not gonna videotape this shit. He's gonna move more smarter with the free cuffs. So understand that Diddy was a real ill guy that was using his power to take advantage of people. And all type of guys are coming out saying that Diddy sexually assaulted him. Kirk Barrows, Little Rod. But I don't really believe Kirk Barrows, because no way, Diddy did not put a gun to your head and force you to give him head and give him hand job. That was just some wild shit to hear. I was saying, really? Diddy can force you to do that shit? I had to lose my job. And Diddy still fired you and take your 25%. Take your asshole, you take your mouth, you let him give you head, and it's not in the studio. Man, that shit crazy. So Little Rod wanted to be a star so bad, so he was willing to do anything what Diddy tell him to do. Diddy said, tell him that he's gonna buy my house beside of his house. Man, Little Rod was so delusional. So you give him that shit every day? On multiple occasions, Diddy sexually assault you, and you did not do nothing. Man, you ninjas are swingers. You ninjas are gays. You're just looking to money grab because Cassie got the $30 million. No judge is gonna make you get that money because you're not a guy. You're not a real man. You're just a little girl that is looking for clout chasing. You're willing to do anything for fame and fortune. You're just some corny ass ninjas. But it is what it is, man. It's OB Media. Have a blessed day.
Diddy is not a freak, okay? The people who worked with Diddy were not freaks. They were not having a freak off. These people were monsters, vile predators doing something that should be unspeakable, unthinkable. You don't get charges for racketeering, assault, trafficking, just because you're a little freaky, just because you like to do adult things in an adult way. You get those charges because you're doing something heinous. In his 14-page indictment, people are caught up on how much baby oil was confiscated from his property. What people aren't talking about was the amount of IV drips that were confiscated from the property, because he was assaulting these people, these women, to the point of dehydration. He was drugging and assaulting them to the point of medical dehydration. That's not freaky. That's evil. That is violent. That is so degrading and debasing to other human beings. And it wasn't just him. He couldn't pull this off by himself. Do you know how many people had to be in on this for it to go on for as long as it has? Do you get that? Do we understand that? We talk about it all the time when these powerful men come down, their enterprises come down, that it's something they can't do alone. They're not doing this by themselves. I hear the jokes and the memes now talking about the baby oil, ha ha ha, no Diddy, none of that. Put a pin in it. Because what happened here is disgusting. It is vile. It is violent. And we need to start treating these actions and these men as such instead of always trying to make them into a...
Hey, is it on? Is that thing recording? Look, some of y'all ain't got no paper, no power, and y'all not staying out of prison. Okay? Diddy had paper, power, relationships, and that's why he probably stay out of prison. Okay? Now, when it comes to business, when it comes to watching people build dynasties, I grew up watching these folks make millions, build legacy, and all of that. For their own personal reasons, they tore their stuff down to the ground. That's on them. Okay? But I want to say this to all you knuckleheads out there rallying and rooting. Is it on? Is that thing recording? You don't have no paper, you don't have no power, and y'all going to prison for real. So don't go out here trying to have you no slaves. Don't go out here trying to tie nobody up. Don't go out here trying to do nothing worse than what you're already doing, because your Pope is going to prison. Poe behind, Poe self, and what Uncle Donnie on, baby, some of y'all behinds going to the pound. Where the dogs at? Where the puppies at? Because the prison can't even afford you. So, with that being said, take notes. R. Kelly don't have no relationships. Nobody fooled with him. Probably no relationship with God. He got one now.